Imagine you're standing in the middle of a massive suspension bridge. The wind is howling, you're hundreds of feet above the water, and you can feel the whole structure just vibrating slightly. It's an engineering marvel. But there's always that tiny voice in the back of your head that whispers, how do we actually know this holds up?
That is the universal fear, isn't it?
Yeah.
We trust the steel, we trust the math, but deep down, we know human beings built this, and, well, humans make mistakes.
Exactly. And trust isn't a strategy. That's what we're digging into today. We're looking at how these huge infrastructure projects move beyond just trust and into solid proof.
And we have the perfect source for this. It's a document titled Employer Requirement, Quality Assurance and Control, specifically document E2.7.
It sounds incredibly dry. I mean, it sounds like something you'd use to prop up a wobbly table.
It does, but it's actually more of a survival guide. It's the rule book a contractor has to follow to prove to the employer, the people paying for it all, that they aren't just winging it.
So this isn't about the design of the bridge itself.
No, not at all. It's about the design of the organization building the bridge. It's like an operating system for quality. And our mission today is to, decode that system. We're going to unpack the acronyms QA, QC, NCR, and see how they form this safety net.
A net so tight that, in theory, nothing can slip through.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's start where the document starts, the foundation. It talks about something called a QMS out quality management system.
Right, and most big companies have some version of this. It's usually a binder on a shelf that says, we promise to do good work.
A promise.
But this document, E2.7, it says promising is not nearly enough. It demands a very specific two-level structure.
2 levels. Okay, so break that down for me. What's the difference?
So you've got the corporate level and you've got the works level. Think of the corporate level as the company's baseline DNA. The document is explicit here. The contractor must have a system that complies with ISO 9001.
ISO 9001, you see that badge on websites all the time. Is it just, a marketing thing?
It's more like a medical license. It's an international standard that proves your company, at its core, has a real process for quality. It's audited by a third party. It tells the employer, okay, this company knows how to operate professionally.
So that's the license. But just because a surgeon has a license doesn't mean they know how to perform this one specific, very complex surgery.
Precisely. And that's the works level.
Yeah.
You can't just copy-paste your corporate handbook. You have to create a specific quality assurance plan that adapts those big corporate rules to this job.
So if the corporate rule is we inspect all concrete,
the work level plan says we will inspect the concrete on the north pylon every Tuesday at 4 p.m. using this specific tool and this checklist. It translates the policy into action.
And the timeline on this is, well, it's incredibly aggressive.
Oh, it's a sprint. The contractor has to have this entire system set up and accepted within 49 days of the commencement date.
49 days. That's barely a month and a half to build the entire brain of the project.
It forces urgency. You can't wait until you're pouring concrete to figure out your quality process. You'd already be too late.
The document says the goal is securing decision moments. They want the system running before the first shovel even hits the ground.
Makes sense. You don't write the fire safety manual while the building is on fire.
Right. So we have the system, the QMS, but a system is just a PDF until you have people involved.
Right.
And this is where the document gets really interesting. It attacks the problem of fragmentation.
Which is huge in construction. The main contractor hires a steel subcontractor, a plumbing subcontractor.
And everyone's in their own little silo. Not my job, mate.
Exactly. E2.7 just shuts that down. It demands a single integrated quality management organization. It means the contractor has to put everyone, all subcontractors, all partners, under one QA umbrella.
And holding that umbrella is one person, the dedicated quality manager.
The one throat to choke.
That is a vivid image.
But it's necessary. The document says this person has to be the single point of contact on quality.
Yeah.
They can't also be the project manager who's worried about the schedule. Their only job is quality.
So if a bolt is missing, the engineer doesn't have to hunt down which subcontractor did it.
Nope. They just call the quality manager. And there's a really important check and balance here. Did you notice the reporting line?
I did. The project quality manager has to link back to the corporate quality organization. That seems like it would bypass the project manager on site.
It does. It's designed to create a healthy conflict.
Healthy conflict? How so?
Well, imagine the project manager's under huge pressure to finish a section by Friday. He might be tempted to say, look, just skip that final check, we need to move.
Time is money.
Right. And if the quality manager works for him, they have to say yes. But if they report to corporate, they can say, sorry, My job, my bonus, depends on following the quality plan, not your schedule.
It gives them the authority to be the bad guy.
It gives them the cover to do their job correctly. It separates production from verification.
And there's another role mentioned too, the commissioning manager.
Yes, another layer of independence. You don't want the person who built the thing to be the only person who tests the thing. You need a separate, objective party to handle testing.
Okay, so we've got the rules and the police. Let's talk about the rhythm of the project. Because this document dictates their calendar.
It absolutely does. It starts with a kickoff meeting within 28 days.
And this isn't just a coffee and donuts thing.
Far from it. The agenda is mandated. They have to present the QMS, the processes, and it's critical, the main quality risks and how they'll mitigate them.
So before they've even hammered a nail, they have to list all the ways they might screw up.
You have to anticipate failure to prevent it, and then it's constant. Quality is a required topic at every single monthly progress meeting.
There's also this idea of a pre-production meeting. I thought this was really smart.
The look before you leap rule.
Right. So before you start, say, the main electrical work, you have a meeting 2 weeks before to go over the plan and the specific risks for that phase.
And then comes the paperwork, the monthly report.
I felt bad for the person who has to write this. It's a laundry list. Audit results, test results.
It is, but look at the 3-month look-ahead schedule. That is so important.
What does that do exactly?
It's a strategic tool. It forces them to look down the road and say, okay, in 3 months we're doing the specialized welding. We need to book the X-ray inspection team now. It prevents last-minute panics that cause delays.
One thing in that reporting section really stood out to me, the lessons learned clause.
Yes, my favorite part.
Because it doesn't just ask them to list lessons, it asks how those lessons will be implemented.
Implementation is everything.
So you can't just say, oops, we mixed the concrete wrong. You have to say, we have now changed the protocol and retrained the staff so this specific mistake can never happen again.
It turns the project into a learning machine. In most places, people hide mistakes. This document says, we expect you to make them, but we demand you systematize the solution.
But, I mean, even with all that, things still go wrong. A wall cracks. A measurement is off. Which brings us to nonconformities. NCRs.
The 3 letters no contractor wants to hear.
So what exactly is an NCR?
It's any deviation from the plan. Any. If the drawing says the wall should be pure white and you paint it eggshell white, that's an NCR. If the steel is a fraction of % below the specified grade, NCR.
And they have to be logged in an electronic register. No sticky notes.
And fast. For anything on site, any installation, it has to be reported within 24 hours.
Why so fast? That seems almost panic-driven.
Because construction is linear. If you install a faulty pipe today, tomorrow you might pour a concrete floor over it. If you don't flag that defect immediately, it gets buried.
And then fixing it costs 10 times as much.
Or worse, it doesn't get fixed and it fails 10 years from now. So they need real-time data on failure.
But just reporting it isn't enough. The fix is where the real work is. They get 14 days to submit a report.
And that report has to include the root cause and a corrective action plan.
Right. Not just the pipe leaked, but why did the pipe leak? Was the welder tired? Was the material specification wrong?
If you don't find the root cause, you're just playing whack-a-mole. You're waiting for the next one to pop up.
And here's the part with teeth. An NCR can only be closed with the engineer's approval.
The contractor can't just mark it done.
Yeah.
And if they have a bunch of open NCRs, it can actually block a payment milestone.
That stops the argument cold. You want to get paid. Fix the problem.
It's the only language that works universally. It ensures quality isn't just a nice to have.
Okay, but sometimes a change isn't a mistake, right? Sometimes it's a question. The document makes a clear distinction between an NCR, a TQ, and a variation.
This is what I like to call bureaucratic hygiene. It keeps things clean.
So a TQ is a technical query.
Just a question. Hey, this drawing is blurry. Is this a 5 or a 6? It's a clarification. The document is very clear that a TQ is not for recording a mistake or a change in scope.
Why does that matter so much?
Because of scope creep. A variation means a change in cost or time. A contractor might try to sneak a cost increase into a simple TQ, like, hey, can we use this other better material? And then later they send you a bill for it.
Ah, sneaky.
So this says no. If a TQ leads to a change of money or scope, you have to open a formal variation in a separate register. It keeps the financial baseline pure.
It prevents death by 1,000 cuts.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got the people, the rhythm, the mistakes. Now, the ultimate safety net. Verification. This is where I get the ITP.
The inspection and test plan. It's the master map. You have to submit this before you start testing. You tell the engineer, here is everything we're going to check, and here's exactly how we're going to check it.
And this leads to what I think is the most powerful concept in the whole document, the difference between a witness point and a hold point.
This is critical. It dictates the entire power dynamic on site.
Okay, so walk me through a witness point.
A witness point is for a routine check. The contractor says, we're pressure testing these pipes tomorrow at 10 a.m. They notify the engineer. If the engineer shows up, great. If they don't, the contractor can go ahead.
So silence equals consent.
Pretty much. It keeps the project moving. But a hold point is the opposite.
How so?
At a hold point, the contractor cannot proceed without the engineer's physical presence or their explicit written permission. Period.
Even if the concrete trucks are idling outside, burning fuel.
You hold. If you pour that concrete without the engineer signing off on the rebar installation, they have the right to make you jackhammer the whole thing out.
That gives the engineer incredible leverage.
It has to. Hold points are for things you can never check again. Once the concrete is poured, the steel's gone forever. It's the ultimate brake pedal on the project.
And then, on top of all these specific checks, you have audits.
The trust but verify layer, the contractor audits themselves, the employer audits the contractor.
Sounds like a lot of people with clipboards.
It can be, but the document is smart about it. It says they should coordinate audits to avoid duplication. The contractor can lead their own audit, and the engineer can just observe. It's collaborative policing.
So you take all of this, the ITPs, the NCRs, the hold points, the org chart, and it all gets wrapped up into one big document, right? The quality assurance plan, the QAP.
Yes, but the key thing to remember, and the text says this explicitly, is that the QAP is a living document.
Meaning it's never really finished.
It evolves with the project. It has to be updated continuously until the final handover. The risks you have when you're digging a foundation are totally different from the risks you have when you're installing the delicate IT systems. The QAP has to reflect that reality.
It's the blueprint of perfection we talked about at the start.
It is. And it answers that question you asked on the bridge.
Yeah.
How do they sleep at night?
They don't sleep on trust.
They sleep on process. This document removes the reliance on individual heroism.
Yeah.
I hope a foreman is having a good day, and it replaces it with systemic, transparent verification.
It assumes people will make mistakes.
And it builds a net to catch those mistakes. It doesn't hope for perfection. It engineers a system to manage imperfection.
The part that's really going to stick with me is that lessons learned requirement. It's so easy in any job to just fix a mistake and quietly move on.
And this forces you to broadcast it.
Yeah.
To say, we mess up, here's why, and here's how we've become smarter because of it. That is the real definition of quality.
It's a system that gets smarter as it builds.
Exactly.
So here's a final thought for you to take away. We all have projects in our lives, maybe not $1 billion bridge, but, launching a product, planning a big event. We mostly just hope for the best.
But what if you applied a hold point to your own work? What if you had a rule that said, I absolutely cannot proceed to the next step until I have verified these 3 critical things?
Or what if you had to write a root cause analysis every time you missed a personal deadline, instead of just saying, oh, I was busy. Was it really just being busy, or was it a failure to plan?
The gap between success and failure so often isn't in the plan itself. It's in the discipline to actually follow the plan, especially when things get stressful.
The document is just paper. The discipline is the magic. Thanks for digging into all this with us. Hopefully next time you're on a bridge, you'll think about the thousands of checks and balances that are holding you up.
Safe travels.
See you next time.
If you're interested in the templates, please visit our shop. The link is in the description.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and see next time.